Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here at Fort Buenaventura to talk to some history buffs about how things came to be, because in the quest for the unknown, I think it's important to learn as much as we can. Hang out with us for a few minutes and let's see what they have to say. Why is history important in our life, and why should more people spend time learning about history?
Well, there's the old bit about if you know the former mistakes, then there's no sense in making them twice. And the other thing, I think that everybody who's going to live on this land should have a knowledge of the people who did so much to make it possible. And they deserve respect and honor for what they did. Many of them gave up lives, fortune, and property and everything else that we could have a country like this. They went through a heck of a lot. Most people couldn't survive a full day under the conditions that a lot of those people lived. And they did it not just for themselves, they did it for future generations, and we are the future generations.
Talk to us about the Declaration of Independence.
Sure, okay, so this copy of the Declaration that we have here is known as the Dunlap Broadside. It is the very first printing of the Declaration of Independence. It came off of the press of John Dunlap on the night of July 4th, 1776, and early in the morning of July 5th. So even though Congress was declaring independence on behalf of 3 million people, they only printed 200 of them. And so these copies, went to political and military leaders. They sent one to George Washington, Patrick Henry. Of course, John Hancock got one. He was the first one to sign it. They sent one to George III, King George. He was thrilled to get it. But most of those 200 went to printers. And so they would receive that. It was essentially a press release because Congress knew that there's no way that they could print enough documents to get it into the hands of everyone. And so they sent it to a guy like Isaiah Thomas, who was the owner of the press that we have reconstructed here. And he then reset the full text of the Declaration on the front page of his newspaper. And then that's the next document that we have here. And in this one, it's interesting because he takes the full text of the Declaration, doesn't quite take up the full page, and so he has this corner down here in the bottom right-hand corner where he wouldn't leave it blank. It's a business after all, and so he has an advertisement for an apothecary shop, which would be the equivalent of our modern-day drugstore. Maybe the best money ever spent in advertising. Almost 240 years later, we're still printing that little advertisement. Too bad Shepherd and Hunt are long out of business.
I'm here with many strings. I would suspect that might be because of the banjo. Is that right?
Yeah. That's what I do. That's what I do best, I guess.
Is the banjo, huh?
It's actually a banjitar.
What's the difference between a banjitar, a guitar, and
it's a guitar with a banjo head, basically. So it's played like a guitar. It sounds like a banjo.
Well, I've never heard of such a hybrid. I guess you're going green.
Okay, well, yeah, we can go with that.
So how did you get into music?
Oh, my goodness. Well, I had a friend when I was a young kid that's all he ever wanted to do, and I couldn't get him to go riding bicycles with me, so I figured if you can't beat him, join him. You
talked to us about the clock face, how a clock face was created. Oh. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Every junior high kid knows how to take a compass and draw a circle and scribe it off and then lay it out and get the Star of David. Well, once you get the Star of David, there's 3 intersecting lines, 3 places where there are intersecting lines. You can draw a straight line across that, and you end up with not just 6 points, but 12. And this is constant. It's a consistent thing. It's always perfect. It always comes out the same. You always get 12 equally distant parts. We did that with with time and then with direction, north, south, east, and west. I don't know all these things, you know. When history was being developed, I was just little. I didn't remember all that stuff.
That's great.
My music has always been kind of therapeutic to me, and my songs are lighthearted. Me and my wife write and record our more of a funny nature, kind of quirky type songs, and we enjoy them and we have fun with them, and we like to see other people have fun listening to them. So that's why we perform.
So I understand that you have a couple colorful tune names. Tell us a few of them.
We do. Bovine Love, Colonoscopy. Beauty of the Mountains is a real pretty love song, yeah, about a ugly girl.
So
can't find her a man. Our Colonoscopy song is actually on our Christmas CD. Along with songs like We Hope Grandma's Out of Prison. Yeah, these are not your typical Christmas songs. There's no jingle bells.
So, Eggnog Yodel. Can you yodel for us?
I can yodel a little bit,
Okay,
sure.
all right.
I'm gonna teach you all to do the eggnog yodel. It really is quite simple, you will see. All you got to do is get yourself a jug of eggnog and grab that jug of rum beneath the tree. Then you mix unequal parts of rum and eggnog. That's 1 part of the nog and 4 of rum. You may find it hard to walk, you may find it hard to talk, you might even end up on your bum. But you can do the eggnog yodel, doodle doodle dee. It's fun with all your clothes on, yodel doodle doodle dee. Drink it down and say I've got to yodel doodle pee, and that's how you do the eggnog yodel. A-D-I-D-U-D, diddle-diddle-yodel-o, diddle-diddle-o-dee-o. A-D-I-D-U-D, diddle-diddle-yodel-o, diddle-diddle-o-dee.
When we look at the very early printings, it wasn't unanimous on July 4th. The delegation from New York had not been authorized to vote for independence until July 9th. And so when the initial press release went out, it just says that it's the Declaration, because at that point it wasn't unanimous. And so that's what we see here. It's a Declaration of the Representatives of the United States of America. But then look right there. I don't know if you can zoom in and get that, but we see here, it should say in General Congress Assembled, but it says IU General Congress Assembled. It's a typographical error where the typesetter just put the wrong character in there. The error happened most likely when someone else was sorting type. It would be a really uncommon error for someone to grab a U thinking they were getting an N. There's kind of a more challenging error here on the first sentence of the second paragraph. It's one that most Americans are familiar with. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. But if you look here, this says, we hold these truths to us self-evident. It was just a typographical error. He was working from one that was done right, but he put the wrong word in here. And so little errors like that were pretty common as the Declaration was being disseminated to the people. By January of 1777, Congress had decided, we need to have an official printing of the Declaration. And so even though they ordered the original, the one that John Dunlap printed, Congress as a body didn't approve it. So they just kind of sent it out and it was printed and went forth. They said, we need to have one that we've checked all the wording, we've checked all the sentences, all the punctuation. But by this time, the British had taken over Philadelphia, and so Congress had to leave, and they reconvened in Baltimore. And so now they had a new printer. And so this printing is the first official printing of the Declaration of Independence. It was printed by Mary Catherine Goddard, who was kind of the predominant printer in Baltimore. And so this is interesting for a couple of reasons. One, it's the first official printing. Two, it's the first printing to include the names of the signers. When our initial printing was done, there were only 2 signatures on the document. It was John Hancock, who was the President of Congress, and it was Charles Thompson. It took almost a month for all the 56 signers to sign the document. And so by now, here it is January of 1777, so this is the first printing that has the signers on it. As my son likes to point out, there's a couple of ways you can tell that it was printed by a woman. One, her name is there, Mary Catherine Goddard. But 2, it's the only official printing of the Declaration to be adorned with 63 flowers right down the middle of the text, and so that's kind of fun. So these are some of the documents that we print here. We print others, but these are the ones that I think connect us kind of most clearly to the founding of our nation and our nation's independence.
People who want to know about their ancestry and know what, well, not just their ancestry, other people's as well, but know what people used to do, what they used to have to do, what they found pleasure in, and what they gave up for our generation. It makes a person very, very serious in their thinking, because they know that somebody has done something for them, and now it's their turn. Let's do something for somebody else.
Well, that's wonderful. Dick, thank you as always. It's great to see you.
Sure,
I
nice
appreciate your time. Yeah, thank you very much. So, as I recall, this is where uppercase and lowercase came from. So,
That's right. So, what you would have is in the kind of even before colonial times, earlier, printing goes back about 300 years before the American Revolution. And we would have a case, a type case full of characters, and one would have the capital letters in it, and then one would have the small letters in it. And the capital letters, since they were used much less, they were set kind of up and above where the other ones were. So you would have your lower case here with the small letters, and then the capital letters would be in the upper case. And it was actually the word case referred to the cabinet, the actual drawer that the type characters were kept in. That's exactly right.
I want to hear part of colonoscopy. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I work at a hospital, so we might want to play that overhead while the colonoscopy is going on. What do you think about that?
We could try that. My wife actually wrote this song, and she sings it, so I'll do the best I can if I can remember the words.
Okay. All right.
I do the harmony normally, it says. Colonoscopy don't sound that fun to me. It's part of my anatomy. I don't want no one to see. They clean you out real good, and they look where no one should. It ain't no way to spend your day. What the heck's a polyp anyway? I up and went to see my old friend Lee. He said he's had a colonectomy. Well, life just ain't the way it used to be. He's lost a part of his identity. He used to spend a lot of time alone, contemplating life up on the throne. But now he's tethered to a bag, no doubt. We can guarantee it ain't takeout. Colonoscopy don't sound that fun to me. It's part of my anatomy. I don't want no one to see. They clean you out real good, and they look where no one should. Ain't no way to spend your day. What's a polyp anyway? Hey Doc, you think you can write a note for my wife saying my head is not up there?
And there you have it. Come on down, Many Strings and Company. I'm sure that you might be a little bit interested about bovine love and colonoscopy. So come on down and check it out. Hey, thanks, Many Strings. It's good to be with you. Yeah, it's nice to meet you. For me, the day at Fort Buenaventura was really interesting. There was a lot of things that I didn't know, and in the quest for the unknown, I was amazed at the Declaration of Independence. I was amazed at how a compass and a clock face came to be. And then I'm just a little bit worried about some of the songs that we listened to, but they were a lot of fun. Either way, there's a lot of people with a lot of great talent. There's a lot of things to do and see. Get off the couch, get out there, check out some of the amazing things in your quest for the unknown.